Hi again, it's Susie here. Right, this time I'm going to show you the same StudioLight journal die, which we've seen before, and I'm going to show you how to thread this up with elastics. Now, what I've done here is I've cut this portion and the two holes. Now, you can see here that I need to measure the halfway point between the two. So what I've done is measure it on a ruler and marked it on the back with a Sharpie. So then I can just have that face down in between the two. I've got a little bit of washi tape and it's 2 centimeters, so I can literally just stick that like that, flip that over, cut it, and that's in the perfect placement for me. And of course this scores all your lines as well, as you can see. So scoring up, that's going to fold up like so. Right, now to do this traveller's notebook style, you actually want to use elastic. I've got a 1mm here, which I think is thick enough for something of this height. If you have a taller journal, that's a standard traveller's notebook. You can see the difference in the height. So for that one I would use a thicker elastic, for example. So I'm going to start at the outside and come through. I'm using 4 times the height plus a little bit of elastic because I'm going to put 4 strings in. So come through. I don't want to go through there, I want to leave that one to tie off in the front. So come through. So you've got a loop at the top there. Go straight down to the bottom. And through the end bit. I want to leave that about halfway, so that's from the outside. You've just got the 2 little loops, as you would see on a traveller's notebook. Whip back up to the top. Go through and do it again. Through the other hole. Of course, if you only want 2 elastics, then you would have tied off now. I want 4 elastics so that I can actually put 4 groups of inserts inside. But if you find your elastics fraying, you should do what I haven't done, which is just wrap a little bit of sellotape over the end. Right, pop back through that hole. The one thing about this I do like is that the holes are big enough I can thread through without any strain, and I don't need a needle. Because of course I haven't got one, I never do when I need one. Right, so tighten those up. So they're slightly taut, but they're not bowing the paper. And come to the middle, and that's where I'm going to want to tie off. So I'm going to do a reef knot, which is right over left. Reef knot or square knot, right over left, left over right. Or it will be in a minute, if I don't drop it. I just want this evenly spaced. That's it. Right, right over left. Left over right, because I gave myself a bit of a short end there. I'm glad I didn't cut the other off first. Right, so that is the flattest knot you can get, basically. And then I can just cut off my excess. So there are my threads. So I have all these pages, which I will list the video below on how I made all these. I've only used 4 stencils. So these are my 2 packs from StudioLight. It's just Lou range, the Explorer range by Lou Withers, and I have got these 4 stencils. And I've done the whole lot with them. I've sprayed them, and I've also used acrylics. So I'm just going to group some pages together that I like. Decide which is your outer one. 1, 2, 3. Some of these are card and some are not. Just fold them in the middle. So that's going to be my first elastic, and just slide them underneath. If you want to stitch your signatures first, then you might want to take a look at my second video on this series, because that one does show you how to do all of the 3-hole pamphlet stitches. Right, I'll actually have to whip a page out because I won't have enough. I was using them for the others, and I've torn it. So do take a little bit more care than I did. Right, so we'll say that's number 1. I'll use that for the outer because I tore that a bit. Now if you want, and you have that problem, a little nick top and bottom is just somewhere where you can rest your elastic in. I'll give that a little triangle cut as well, and it should prevent that happening if you're a bit on the heavy-handed side, which I'm afraid I am, because you do want it to fit tight, but you don't want it to be so tight that you actually tear your paper. So just get them in position. So that's 1, that's 2. I think I maybe should have loosened the elastic a little bit, but I've cut it now, so there we are. You could have it under the whole lot, or as I'm doing, which is one at a time. That's 3. Yes, I should have made my elastic a lot looser. In fact, I'm going to do that. Just undo this slightly. I've seen somewhere they're incredibly tight, but of course that will be when you're using something like a ready-made notebook which has got a very rigid cover. You've got to remember these are painted pages, so they are a lot more fragile. Right, so I just pull on that a little bit, that should just ease off. And I will cut that corner piece again. And also give it a better crease. So you can tell this is a little bit on the rough and ready side. I'm just doing it for demonstration. I would do a painted cover and everything else when I'm doing it properly. But I just want you to see how this all fits together and how you're going to do your final elastic. Right, so I'll fold those over again. Just give that little nip. I do quite like that actually. If I was doing a card cover to each signature, I wouldn't bother because it would be strong enough to take it. And by that I mean the fact I've cut my elastic a bit on the tight side, because you don't want it sloppy because you want it to hold the pages in, but you also don't want it too tight either. Right, so that's working out beautifully. Now then, we want more elastic again, because this time I want to be able to bind it, so I really want that, and that's about right. Buy yourself a couple of meters, and then at least if you go wrong you're not too worried. Right, I'm going to poke one in through here and one through this one, because I want this out. Oh, I've lost my end, of course. Right, and I'm simply going to knot these. This is where you might want to do eyelets or something. Right, so just pull that. There's your loop, and literally that just pops over, and that's your traveller's notebook style, whichever way up you want to use it. And Bob's your uncle. And when you want to change your pages out, you just simply unhook them from the elastic. Entirely your choice whether you want to stitch them first, like this 3-hole pamphlet stitch, or you just want to slide them inside. And in fact, there's nothing to say. I can't even put this one inside of that one and have even more pages. But you'll know yourself how much you want inside there and how you want it to look. So anyway, there you are, and thank you very much for watching.